you've asked the BCBA to do the FBA, and they've come back with a function for the behavior that happens.
Right.
And now you could spend 3 hours with a group of people arguing about how to do an FBA that isn't, or how to do a behavior intervention plan that isn't effective. I have done that before. Or you can sit down with this program and have it direct you through what is science-based, and it allows you the creativity to be able to say, this will not work in this setting, this will.
Yeah. So you choose your function first on a drop-down menu, and then you are presented with questions about different things you might want to include in your plan. And it just simply tells you what they are, defines them, so some people don't necessarily know the lingo. It gives the jargon that we use in applied behavior analysis, but then it has a paragraph to describe the definition of that and an example, and it asks if you would like to include it or not in the plan. And it starts with providing antecedent modifications. So these are things we're going to do to try to prevent the behavior from occurring to begin with. It includes replacement behavior. So if the child is doing something, what can we teach them to do instead? And then it also ends with consequence manipulation. So what will we do when the child engages in the behavior? And also what will we do when the child engages in the new replacement behavior to reinforce it? And it walks you through all your options, and it also tries to lead you to least intrusive first. And it has questions about, how dangerous it is and things like that. And if it's too dangerous, it'll just say seek a professional, so that we're not getting in the business of dealing with, really severe things.
Right, because there are some times when you do have to have a professional, and it will direct you and say, this is something that you're really going to need somebody there doing this, implementing this, which I think is also helpful.
Right. And it kind of notices when you don't decide to include a certain thing and say, well, you haven't included anything yet, so you should probably include this.
Yes.
Yeah.
When I have talked before on the show about how we had a period of time in which I got to spend an hour a day with you and come in and talk about things and ask you questions. And I remember, coming to you and saying, okay, somebody is doing this, so would we do this or would we do this? And you would talk me through it, and you would always say to me, but you've forgotten a replacement behavior.
Yeah.
You're just hoping this behavior just dissipates and goes away because we're wishing it to go away. You can't do that. You have to give the person a replacement behavior that's socially acceptable and fulfills the same need. And the BIP won't allow you to just get away with that. It'll remind you, you've forgotten a replacement behavior.
Yeah.
You really
or it'll say, you haven't chosen a replacement behavior. So now what we would recommend is that you do a DRO, which is differential reinforcement of other behavior, and that just means provide reinforcement when it doesn't occur.
Right.
So it picks up on the fact that if people haven't chosen certain things that are pretty much key components of a behavior intervention plan. And then after you fill that out for one function at the end, it'll say, is there another function for this behavior as well? And so that way, if the child's engaging in that behavior for multiple reasons, we can then choose a second one, and then we go through the process again. And then finally, it drafts out a BIP, and the BIP is organized by antecedents, replacement behavior, and consequences. And for each of those, there's a bunch of fill-in-the-blank things that people have to put in. So for example, if they said that they were going to use demand fading, which is an antecedent manipulation where they decrease the amount of demands that they're providing for a kid who's maybe engaging in a behavior to try to escape the demands. Okay. It will have a place where there'll be a fill-in-the-blank for them to say, how they're going to increase the demands over time, what demands they're actually going to be delivering. There's fill in the blanks in the consequence areas for how we're going to reinforce the behavior. So is it going to be on every instance? And then eventually, how are we going to thin out that reinforcement so that we're not providing it on every instance forever? So all of these little fill in the blanks are there for them to put those things in.
Yes. And it makes you smarter. And it doesn't matter who you are, it makes you smarter in the moment, because it gives you a streamline of choices that are appropriate and reminds you when you're not doing something. And we should say that there's even been research done on this BIP builder with people who already have great expertise at writing BIPs, and they found that it made them faster and the BIPs were more effective. Am I misquoting?
We didn't collect data on faster.
Okay.
But
I would assume, though, because I know how long it takes to write a BIP from
Let's
scratch.
just say I'll never write a BIP again
There we go.
if I don't use the tool, because I can get it done in 10 minutes.
Well, and as a parent, I will never get a BIP again that I don't spit out a matching BIP, put the function in and spit out a matching one and compare and say, you know, if I were to put this, what they've recommended on this BIP in, am I within the realm of what's been shown to be effective scientifically? I will never do that again. It's a great tool.
Yeah. So what our research showed, though, we used staff who already have been trained to write behavior intervention plans. So we didn't even know if we were going to see any sort of improvement.
Right.
And we measured 3 things: whether their behavior plans became more function-based was one, evidence-based was another, and if we saw a change in the use of punishment.
Okay.
So we're hoping to see less punishment.
There we go.
And what we found was that our participants' BIPs became more function-based than they were before. We didn't see, it was a group design, and so our stats did not find a statistically significant difference for the evidence-based and the punishment-based changes. And you know, the one thing I want to mention is that the Behavior Intervention Plan Builder only has one punishment procedure even in it, which is response blocking, and even some people would argue if that's really even punishment. In some cases, it could be extinction. So we're not really even sure, but we included response blocking to keep people safe. That was always the point of it. So
absolutely. Well, I think it's impressive. It's all a part of skills, but you can do the BIP Builder separately. If you don't want to do everything else with skills, you can do that separately. You can go to skillsbipbuilder.com and just do that. Amazing. I'm telling you, as a former teacher, it's a wonderful tool that can help every classroom teacher. Now, so we'll encourage people, go to skillsforautism.com and you can sign up for a 14-day free trial, try it as a teacher and see what you think. But if you want for your school to investigate it further, you can call the skills people. You can say, I'm a parent and I'd like for them to talk to my school, and they'll have a conversation with you about that, because there are many schools who are using it to great advantage, and it would be great if more schools were using it.